Okay. Hope you guys are able to see my screen. Okay. Hope it is visible for everyone, right? Okay. So let me, yeah. So yesterday, we have, built a sample app on the React. Actually, we use that npx create React app and that is like we call it as to-do app. And after that, we tried to run that app and, it was working fine with the npm start. Okay. So what exactly the npm start is doing? Okay, so it is running the existing application. Okay, the created application, and it is giving you a runtime environment like for that React app, whatever you have to, started, right? So similarly, we have npm test and npm run build. There are two other commands, okay, which is going to help us in future. Okay, so npm test is kind of it will execute all the test cases, okay, for all the for the project whatever you are working on. Okay, so npm test is kind of a similar way that when you run some JUnit test cases in the normal Spring Boot application, whatever the application that you design, for in Java perspective. Okay, so yeah, it is. I'll try to show you one small example over there. Which, mm, okay, I'm just opening this one to do. Yeah. So yeah, 1 second. Let it load. Okay, so if you see here, so I'm trying to run the test, right? Yeah, I'm just running on the test, npm test over here. Okay, so it is going to, yeah, it just started now. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay, so if you see here, it is trying to run all the React steps. Okay, React related scripts, the test side. Okay, yeah. So it is determining. So it doesn't have any tests. Okay, to run that. Okay. Okay, so when you take that command, right, npm test. Okay, so we have several small internal commands to it. Okay, so let's say if you want to execute all tests now and you have to give the command as a. Okay, so I'm just giving a now, I wanted to run all the tests. Okay, I'm just giving a. So when I clicked on a, A actually it started running, creating app test is our test class. Okay, the app.test.js. So it ran that, and it doesn't have any test suits, only one. So let's see, it is still running, I think. Yeah, once it is done, yeah. Okay, if you see here, it ran now, and the test suits are passed one, and test is also, we have only one class, so it, sorry, one JS file, so it passed. Okay, it doesn't have any errors. Okay, so if you want to get more details, just click on W. Okay, so these are the like options that you can still use. Clicking F, actually it shows your failed test. Clicking O, it shows only run test related to changer files. Okay, so it has those things. Okay, so now I'm just breaking it with Control C. Okay, so I just wanted to come out. Okay, now, so hope you guys understood this one, the test, npm test. And the other one is npm run build. What is npm run build, right? Npm run build is, will help us, to this application to create a production ready application. Okay, so that means, you will be ready with your code changes and everything that you when you deploy the generated files from npm build. Okay, npm run build. So let's try that. Okay, npm run build. Okay, yeah, it just started. Yeah, if you see that, it is just creating the optimized, production build. Okay, let's wait, to complete that, and we can check on it, what exactly it created. Don't know why it is this much slow. Hmm. Okay. Uh, yeah, no, it's done. If you see here, I ran this command npm run build, and actually it started, compiling them first. Okay, and then it created three different files: build static JS. Okay, and which is having this main and chunk, and also the main, that's CSS, right? So it created only three files, and it is under the build folder, right? So let me show you that one more time. One second. Uh, dummy. If you see here, it created a folder called build, right? Just now, 514. Okay. So another build folder. Okay. So it created multiple things, you know, uh, all these, folders and everything. And under the static, actually, you see there's a JS folder. and a CSS folder. So these two are very main files that we need to consider. Okay, so when you go to the JS, okay, so this is the final version. Okay, 787. Okay, this is the final version of the one which we are looking for the deployment. So that means, whenever you are going for a production deployment, instead of deploying the entire application, so this npm run build actually give you three different files. Okay, so we are going to deploy these three files into our different environments based upon your available environments. We used to deploy these things into those LA servers. Yeah, and similarly it will go to production as well. Okay. Okay, so let me come back to the PPT, and then we'll go in a deeper. Okay, so we'll just create a to-do app. Okay, in the using React. Okay, so we can just find out like what are all the components, and so these are all the components which we can add it. But considering this is a very big not a small application, so it is a big application that whatever we are going to deal it with. So what I've done, actually, I already had this a application created. Okay, I just took this code from Git public repository, and I made it available, to execute it properly. Okay, so I'll try to explain the code first, and then we'll come back. So for this, actually, I have created a service as well. Okay, which can give some kind of the responses from Spring Boot perspective. So we'll start with service, and we'll come back to React, and then we'll close today's session. Okay, let me go back to the Eclipse. Okay, so similarly, what I've done, actually, I have created a data SQL, and I created a table called to do. Okay, in the to do, we just added all these values. Okay, so where exactly it is going to insert, as if you guys remember, actually we have used H2 database, okay, in memory database, from Spring. Okay, so I have used the same one, for this. Okay, and there are a couple of things which I've done it over here, and yeah, I'll try to cover all of them, but the main ones, which I'm gonna try now is there are different controllers. The one is hello world controller. Okay, which I have added it here in the in the Java project. So it is going to check the basic auth. Okay, we have I just implemented basic auth check over here, and whenever it is you call this hello world, actually it is going to give you that hello world v2. And yeah, these are all the different type of get mappings which I have created. And this is the one which I'm going to call in call the service to print my name, or who called that particular name, who logged in, right? So I just created very small get mappings. Okay, get mappings for in the hello world. Okay, and other than this, actually we do have to do service also. Okay, so in the to do service, okay, so we have a couple of static elements that we already have it. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, to do service is kind of it is an implementation that we used to find a username, and we used to find kind of database operations. Okay, that whatever we have it, I have implemented everything in the to do service. Okay, so if you see here, find by username, it is going to find by username. So where it is going to find the username, actually it is going to find it in the static block whatever we added to the to do object. Okay, so to do is one of our list actually which contains these three things, and it is going to, whenever we call these things, okay, it is going to validate it. Okay, so and also I have used this the database. Okay, H2 database, which I'm saying. Okay, so let's see, both in both ways actually we have used this to do service. Okay, let me go to the to do controller. Okay, so what it does, right? One second. To do controller, I think to do resources. Yeah, to do resource. Oh, okay, guys, if you see here, these are one of the controller which having multiple get mapping. Okay, and if you see here, I have post mapping and also put mapping. Okay, so what is this? Okay, so I'm gonna use all these get mapping, push, post, sorry, post and put and delete. Okay, all these things, I'm gonna use it in the UI. Okay, I'm gonna call each and every service. Okay, using access. Okay, so how it is going to call, and I will be showing that in the DB. Okay, sorry, in the UI in the React app. Okay, but I think this is very pretty much straightforward. So I have one get mapping, and I'm just trying to retrieve something. I have some put mapping. I'm just trying to push something based upon the ID whichever the it is passed from the UI. Okay, so I'll show you like how it works and all. Okay, and yeah. So before going there, actually, I wanted to show you something. Okay, so let me start this application. Okay, independent, run as Java application. Yeah, it is starting. Okay, yeah. So it started, right? One second, I'll show you. Oh God. Okay, so if you see here, Tomcat started at the port 8080. Okay, right. So let me go back and I'll show you something. H2 console. Yeah, if you see here, it is already enabled that Spring H2 console enable to equals to true. So I think we can log into the H2, okay, using the default user ID password. So let me just do a refresh over here. So this is the the local host H2 console database. Okay, I'm just refreshing it. Okay, so it is going to, yeah. So here, this is our test DB. Okay, which we configured in the application. Okay, I'll show you in the application.properties. Okay, okay, where it is application properties. Yeah. So if you see the application.properties, actually I configured this with the test DB. Okay, and test DB. Okay, and also we just added that H2 console to be enabled as true, so that we can log in and check whether we have some data or not. Okay, so I just let me go back to the Google Chrome, and I'll show you. Okay, I'm just clicking on connect. Okay, so I was able to log into there. Okay, so this is one of the table which we already created, and it should have like 3 or 4 data. Okay, so which we have it in the SQL. Okay, so I have given this username, okay, because I have some get method, to retrieve all the user related data once I log in from the UI. Okay, so I just gave this user as same. Okay, let's see, once it is. Okay, now yeah, it is pretty much simple. So I have a couple of services which connect to the database, like the H2 database, and give you the output. And I have some like hello world related kind of um, services, okay, which displays all the kind of Spring text messages. Okay, and we already have that JWT token which is implemented, so I'll try to cover that one. Okay, but before, wanted to show the UI part, and then we'll come to here. Okay, so let me go back to the UI to do. Okay, so first we'll cover, one second, let me close this one, this one, this one, this one. Okay, yeah. Okay, so right now what we are actually, we created a node, to do app, and in the to do app, I have gone through with this couple of folder creations, okay, which we call it as kind of an individual component. So let's say, the from the to do, okay, I created under the component source, and under the source I created a components folder. So in React, actually everything is a component. Okay, so that's why I just created a component. Under the component, again, I created a folder called to do. Okay, so under the to do, actually I have multiple components which I've created. Okay, so what those multiple components? Okay, so like it is like to do app is one of the component, to do component is one of it. Okay, and login component, header component, footer component, okay, error component, everything I have created as a component. So why we created these things as a component? So when you run the, actually when you code this React application, right? Sorry, one second. Okay. Okay, so when we code this, okay, so we can just attach those components one by one, and you can create a very good application. Okay, like independent components will be creating for each and everything, and at the end of the day, like we are going to combine those components. Okay, not the code. Okay, so we are going to combine those components, and we'll make sure that our application is following certain flow. Okay, so I'll just give you one example in this. Okay, so I'm going to do app. Okay, this is our main to do app. Okay, so in the to do app, there is a function called to do app. Okay, so this is our main function which is going to be executed first. Okay, so like on high level, what I'm trying to do, uh, first I am attaching header component, and um, under the header component, like we have login component. Okay, so which I'm going to render that login component after the header component. Okay, once the login component is successful, okay, so like that means it is authenticated. Okay, then I need to call a welcome component, okay, which is having all the welcome related code. Okay, and it is having certain web service calls to the backend, which will say some hello and kind of a text responses, whatever we have it. Okay, so once we have that welcome component, under this welcome component, right, you might see there are a lot of um, other things, okay, in the welcome component. Let me go there in the welcome component actually. Okay, you have something related to some text displays, and if it is successful, we are going to give that successful response. And we have some other links, okay, which we can maintain, sorry, which we can see in the to-dos. Okay, so let me explaining like this code. Okay, it might not be easy to understand. So what I'll do, I'll just start this npm start. Okay, I'll just start it, and I'll show the UI, and then I'll come to the each and every component, how it is using and how it is calling certain elements and all. Okay, and then how it is connected to our local host, that services, whatever we have it on the Spring Boot. Okay, let's see. It is just starting now. Okay, just give a second. Yeah, it just started. Okay, so yeah, it opened the browser. Okay, the to-do app. Okay, yeah, so this is how the login page looks like. So when you go to the login component, okay, login component. Okay, so this is the login component, and we have, if you see here, this is the code that you are seeing over here. So the div class login, and we are having this elements like input element for the username and also the password. Okay, and these are all like on change. Actually, we are capturing its state of the value. We are going to capture it using these things. Okay, user state and use password. Okay, use state. We were capturing that, and the user means like we are going to get the default as user, and the default state is actually the password is empty, that we are taking it. Okay, and yeah, so this is how it is going to display on your screen. Okay, when you call the login component. Okay, and it has those certain functionalities whenever you are logging in with bad user. I mean to say uh, the user which is not present in our database. Okay, or the user which is not present in our service calls, right, service. Okay, it is going to give you some authentication errors and all, authentication failed. So initially actually we were checking with the one logic. Okay, where it is actually. Okay, one second. Should be there in the welcome component. No, one second. Authentication, where is the authentication, or the first one, to do app? Yeah, just a minute. Authenticate. Yeah, context, the component. Okay. Just navigate. This is all with context. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So we have it in the auth context. Okay. Auth context JS. Okay. So whenever you try to log in, okay, you try to log in with some user ID password. So there are multiple ways that we can do these things. Okay. The first way, what we have done over here, like, I'm just taking those username and passwords, okay, from this the current state. Okay. And if the username is equals to user and if the password is equals to some dummy, okay, then I'm allowing, I'm just keeping this set authenticated as true so that it will be login. Okay. I set username, I'm setting it, the username as the one which we passed it. If it is not, actually I'm going to stop that user, to not to log in. Okay. So this is the first way that we can do it. Okay. Without checking in the database and all. Okay. So but the second way that you can still do it with basic authentication service with the BA token that we can generate, and this token will be assigned to the current user, whoever logged in. So same way, if that this is the execute basic authentication, actually it is not the service that we are going to call it from the, it is not the UI related thing. It is going to call the one which we have it in the backend service. Okay. So the token also will be generated from the backend service. Okay. And once we get that response, and if the response status is to 200, okay, we are going to assign that BA token. Okay. Whatever the token that we generated and send it, that token will be assigned over here. And the set authentication, actually we are setting it as true. That means it is authenticated, so that it will allow us to go for the next pages. And in the every page, actually we are going to check whether this user is authenticated or not, right? So this is the second type of implementation that we do for basic auth. Okay. And the third one which we are using right now is the JWT token. Okay. JWT authentication service. Okay, this is also, we were calling JWT authentication service. We are calling the backend services. If I click on this, okay, so you see the slash authenticate. Okay, so this is very simple actually. So we use API client, okay, as to call the backend services, from Java or wherever, whatever the REST services that we build it. So this API client is, like this was formed from Axis, okay, Axios, okay. Axis is one of the uh, predefined class, okay. You which enables us to call the backend services of any of any of the REST services or anything that you can call it through Axios, okay. And that whatever we have done it, actually we just created an API client with the access.create, and the base URL we assigned it as HTTP localhost 8082, right? So this is our base URL. After that, actually we have different client services okay, to call your authentication, to call your some of the to do everything, right? So the same way, yeah, we are going to get that response. If the response is 200, so what we are doing, we are just getting that data token back, okay, and we are assigning that token to set token, okay. So this is how the authentication is happening within the React, and the service call between the application and the React. Okay, so I'll show you. I'll try to log in now, and I'll show you the what is happening and all. One second. Let me just enable the developer tools. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so this is the one second. Let me move it down. Array my mouse, okay, let it be. Okay, so yeah, I just opened this one. Okay, this is our dev tools. Okay, so yeah, let me just get it. Okay, just a second. Okay, I'm just getting this one. Okay, one second. Let me close it and just come back. One second. Where it is going on? Okay, let me just try to log in now. Okay, so I just hard coded them. Okay, to make sure it logs in perfectly. Okay, so if you see here, I logged in to the. One second. Okay, one second. Let me go back. Oh, why it is not coming? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll just try to log in again. So how it is going? If you see here, so we are calling authenticate method. Okay, with the password, username as user and password as dummy. And this is the request payload that we are calling back to the our service call. And this is the token. Actually, it is getting generated. Okay, this is our response token, which it is coming back from our authentication token. And this is a token, which I was talking about, which will be alive, for throughout the session. Okay, and this token will be communicated with each and every calls. Okay, and yeah, if you see here, this is our token, which we are getting it from the response. Okay, got it? So yeah, so once you log in, right, actually you see there are a couple of links over here. Okay, and there is one link over here, right? So I'm just clicking on call hello world. So if you see here, actually it called, sorry, if you see here, this is what the preview, and this is our response. Okay, so the request is actually, this is our request URL, localhost 8080 hello world, and path variable as Hari. Okay, so I was passing this from the UI so that I can print this hello world Hari. Okay, so it is like very simple, and if I click on go to here, so manage your to-dos. Okay, go here. Okay, so if you see here, these are the things which it is called. Okay, users, based upon the user to dos. Okay, so it retrieved multiple findings. Okay, one second. Yeah, this one. So it gave us the response. Okay, this is our call user to dos. Okay, and we got the okay, if you see here, right, this is what we are doing. When we go and call back all the services, okay, the services, whatever in the background, actually we were passing these tokens, okay, the token which was created for the initial call. So this token was always passed, and it is always getting validated for all the calls, okay, from the backend. And the response that you got it actually from these are coming from the H2 database, okay, from here. Okay, so the H2 database, it's giving back you the response. Okay, and if you see, I just wanted to update something. Okay, let me click on update. Okay, so just give some update. Okay, and if you click save, so it is going to call the put method. Okay, which is like the 1001. This is what the one which is updated. Okay, and it should uh, update that. Okay, and if you see here, whatever the update that we have done, actually it is coming back. Okay, how it is coming back? Okay, we are again calling the same the updated one with the ID one, this one 10,001, and we are retrieving the same ID details, and we are pushing it here. Now let's go back and check in the database. Okay, how it is, whether it has changed or not. Yeah, so if you see here, it changed, right? So yeah, actually it is calling the database, and it is trying to retrieve, and it is coming back. Okay, so let's see one more thing. And right, exactly, yeah. So I'm trying to delete this one. Okay, so it just deleted. That's this one, delete of to dos with the ID 1001 is successful. So if you see here, I called a service to delete it actually. Okay, so what we are yeah, so the response, whatever we got it is actually having two things, 1002 and 1003, right? Yeah, so the two things, the two records, whatever we got it as a response, actually we displayed it over here. Let us go back and check in the database whether whether it is deleted from the database or not. Okay, just click run. Yeah, see, it deleted. Now it is only two rows over here. So now just let me go back and add a new. Okay, okay, testing, and just let me pick a date from the date picker and click save. Okay, see, now it's saved. Okay, so let me go back and check in the database now whether it is added over here. Yes, it is added, right? Okay, so this is how actually we were communicating with all the service calls. So if you see here, this is all the service calls which we are calling it internally, and it is executing everything. Okay, from the React application to Spring Boot, and I'll show you how these services are configured and how we are calling in the React. Okay, so as I mentioned, first we have to configure the API client, using this access.create. Okay, so we created this base URL HTTP localhost 8080. Okay, and this API client will have the access to this, a localhost 8080, and we using this API client, actually we are going to call multiple services. Okay, how we are going to call, we'll see. Okay, let us start with to do service. Okay, to do app service. Actually, to do app service, we are having multiple things. We are retrieving data, we are pushing data, and we are updating data, and we are deleting the data. So there means, like, we are performing some operations, right? So how we are calling it, yeah, based upon this. Okay, so we are just creating retrieve all to do for username API. Okay, so we are retrieving everything for the user. Okay, so how we are doing that, we are calling API client dot get call. Okay, under the users. Okay, we are calling username and to do's. Okay, where is this going? This is going to our Spring Boot uh, to do resource. To do resource. Yeah. See, if you see here, this is what, right, which we are calling retrieve to do's. So this is our method, and this is our get mapping. So this is what we are calling it in the here. So let me just make it small and keep it here separately, so that we'll understand easily. So users, username, and to-dos. So here also users, username, to-dos. So this is the get mapping which we are utilizing it here. And whenever we click on that to-dos button, okay, so we are calling this retrieve all for user nap. Okay, so when you click on this, right, let me go back and log out and just come back. Okay, so here, when you click on here, go here. So what internally we are doing, we are calling that service, to retrieve all the data from the database. Okay, that is how, the first method is getting used. Okay, and delete to do API. So delete also we are calling the method app client, dot delete. So HTTP methods, right? Get, post, and put, delete. So all these, the same way, whatever we are following the declaration of here, at the rate delete mapping, at the rate put mapping, and at the rate post mapping, at the rate get mapping. So the same way that we are going to follow the here app client get, it is going to retrieve something. App client delete, it is going to map the delete mapping method, whatever we declared in the whatever we created in the service. Okay, so it is going to call the delete mapping using this app client, and it is going to delete the corresponding username or ID, whatever you passed, okay, in the URL. Okay, so similarly it does for the put and post also. See, put and post, with the same username, whatever you passed it, actually it is going to update it. And for the post, actually it is going to update everything. Okay, the complete set of data. Yeah, so the same way, if you go to the Hello World bean, and if you go to the Hello World API service over here, sorry, Hello World controller, okay, and API services for Hello World. Okay, so the same way, whatever we have done it in the the to-dos one, we are doing the same thing over here as well. Okay, we are trying to retrieve app client.get. Okay, we are passing the URL pattern, whatever we used in the path. Okay, Hello World bean. Okay, and the other one is actually we were using hello world path variable. This is the one which we actually use it. Okay, whenever you log in and whenever you click on that hello button, right? This one. Yeah. Yeah, call hello world. Okay, once you click on this one, actually it internally executes this. Okay, and it is going to print your name, because if you see here, once again, I think I configured that in the client class. Once again, yeah, where is it? Yeah, yeah, in the welcome component, I just added is hello world path variables, okay, as a Hari, and I'm just giving that token. Okay, so that means whenever it comes to the API service, it is passing the username as Hari. Okay, so user, sorry, and for this one we are passing as username as Hari, so that it just print that okay on the screen. So when I click on it, yeah, it is giving that call hello world Hari. Okay, so if you see here, this is what we are passing it, and because of that we're getting this one. And the same way, when you click on go here, and we already seen it actually how this to-do list and everything is getting called. Okay, so here it is going to retrieve everything from the database. Okay, and you can also add your things. And remember one thing that I told you about this H2 database when we are talking about the Spring related JPA and all. That time actually we got, once you restart the server, that H2 database will be gone, and the data will also be going away. So that's why I added this SQL data.sql default. So whenever this application server starts, actually these three records will be created all the time. Okay, so that you at least whenever this application is used, okay, you will definitely get the default data for this. Okay. Yeah, so there are a lot of things that we can cover in the React actually, but the time whatever we have it actually it is very limited. So I was trying to explain the things in this way. Okay, let me. Uh, if you guys have any questions or something, do let me know. I will cover more deeper way from the React perspective. But yeah, I think by with this today's session, it is the end of the first first month of training. So I think we'll start the same training again from the next month. Okay, like next week or the other week, I don't know, like the date will be posted by the uh, I think Trishul or somebody. Okay, they will post those dates. Okay, whenever we are going to start the next training. But for now, actually, we are going to stop with this example. Okay. Yeah, but I just wanted to give you one small thing. Okay, one second. Okay, so if you see here, right, in the I told you like everything is in the component based. Okay, so if you see here, the to do app. Okay, so in the to do app we are configuring each and every header component, and the authenticate route, and also the welcome component. And once it is done, actually we were doing this list to do's component. Okay, so you build the app on your own. Okay, just creating multiple components, and you create everything separately, and give the validation, everything you can give it, and just using those tags. Okay, you just what you need to do, if you want to import that component, actually you can just import it like this. Okay, so the reusability of creating a component, and the work that we are doing to create a component, actually that will be reused everywhere. Okay, let's say uh, the component concept, like where exactly it is used more. Okay, if you are considering a header and footer. Okay, so header and footer will be same for throughout the application in most of the cases. Okay, so generally in older days, actually we usually create the templates, and we used to we used to like import those templates, and header and footer, and sometimes actually we do usually write the duplicate code to according to the JSPs and whatever we create earlier. But now the component that you are creating, header component and the footer component, you can just direct plug and play with the other things. Okay, and you can also maintain a sequential flow, okay, like this. Okay, if you see, get back to the PPT. So what we have done, login component we created. Once the authentication and everything is successful, then we are calling welcome component. Okay, welcome component, once we implement the routing, actually if it is if it is having a login issue or something, we are going for the error component, giving that error is like something like this. Okay, I'll show you one error. Okay, I forgot to. Okay, let me log out and just I'm just giving some other password. Okay, see, authentication failed. So we implemented this one also, basic authentication messages. Okay, failure messages. And one second. Yeah, so once everything is done, actually we were configuring the list to do's component. Okay, to call the backend services and get those details. So all these things we can do step by step, and we can assign this component to the main component whatever we have designed, the to do app.js, right? So we were assigning each and every component to that to do app, and this to do app is configured in the main index, main app.js. Okay, so if you see here, this is our main app.js. So whenever you execute an application of React, actually this is the application which is going to this is the file which is going to execute. Okay, so but what we have done all the components created, and we rendered those components into to do app. Okay, and we render this complete to do app into the app.js, so that whenever this application starts, we are saying that okay, this is our to do app, load it, and whatever it is having, it will load internally the complete components whatever you have designed. So every time whenever you wanted to update something, whenever you wanted to create something, you have to follow the same similar way. Okay, the components you create, and once you have the component, it will have one main component like to do app, and from that to do app, actually you are going to give that in the app.js, so that it will run on the when we start the React npm start and all. So it is going to call this app.js. Okay, yeah, that's all for today. Okay, today's session. If you have any questions or something, to let me know. Okay, yeah, we'll meet again. Thanks all. Bye for the day.